Position now. 2026 is going to be extremely bullish. On the back end of this video, I'm going to show you though, you got to get out of the hype. You got to get out of the hopium. You have to build a system and a plan. I'm going to show you how this weekend affected everything in 2026 with Trump and Venezuela. I'm also going to show you the actual plan that is happening from a financial perspective. And at the back end of the video, I'm going to show you how 2026 is going to be bullish. But just like everything, it always cycles. It's not different this time. There's been over 30 major market collapses in the last 200 years. They're going to print more money than in history. I'm going to show you how they're going to devalue your dollar even more. I'm going to show you how they position themselves in a new financial system and how the 1% is going to become extremely wealthy. As the middle class looks this way, they change the whole narrative this way. But this moment in time, you can position yourself. You can understand how the systems actually work. You can study books like this and understand how to buy good companies at a fair price because you're going to have great opportunities in the next 3 years. And you can really understand that this is nothing new under the sun. So we're first going to show you, once again, how the dollar's collapsed 96 to 97%. The US debt is out of control. We were losing control with the US dollar. Trump saved it through stablecoins. He just secured oil. We're going to rock out and show why people are buying gold and why silver's going through the roof and what the Trump family is doing with their cryptocurrency portfolio. So let's dive right in. On the back end of every video, I share with you exactly what I am doing. Okay, so this is a continued look at the US dollar, right? We've looked at this over and over again, but this is what keeps me calm. This is what keeps me stoic. And this is what keeps me non-emotional and not in the hype. This is your currency, okay? Since 1913, the dollar's collapsed 96 to 97%. This is the reality that you're facing. Now, remember, when they print money in a low interest rate environment, your dollar is going to become worth less. Okay. Now, this is our national debt. We hit an all time high. We just keep increasing. They're going to monetize even more debt. They're going to print money, monetize more debt. Remember what happened with Japan, the reverse carry trade that's happening now? They ran 0% interest rates from like 1990. They're at 500% debt to income ratio. America's at 120. So that's the runway we have ahead of us, right? The unfortunate thing is the unsuspecting public, anybody who holds their money in fiat is always going to be the victim of a system where the elites move into assets, okay? So let's continue on, then we'll get to the point of Venezuela. If you look at this, foreign central banks now own more gold than the US treasuries for the first time in almost 30 years. This is where my narrative starts to pick up. So Trump leaves the presidency anti-crypto. Larry Fink was anti-crypto. Jamie Dimon was anti-crypto. The banks were all against crypto. And as we sit today, we'll talk about this tomorrow. Bank of America, as of today, is recommending about 1 to 4% of their clients' portfolios into Bitcoin. Trump comes back and runs as a crypto capital of the world. Okay. He is the number one holder in billionaires in Bitcoin. And I'm going to show you where his family's positioned in the Bitcoin treasuries. He creates the Genius Act, which was genius because central banks around the world are now starting to hold more gold than they do US treasuries. Okay, remember, the bond market is what holds the US up. Then we had the petrodollar. So Venezuela's was much bigger than what you guys think. It's a financial transition into the new system. Okay, so let's take a look at what has happened and why this is happening. So Venezuela, if you look at this now, America dominates oil. Okay, now remember, in 1973, we detached from the gold standard. Okay, then we went into the petrodollar. When we detached from the gold standard, that made our money fiat, fake. So then when we went into the petrodollar, all US oil was traded, all oil worldwide was traded in US dollar. Well, as you can see, we started to lose our dominance. As soon as Russia invaded Ukraine, Biden immediately took them off the SWIFT system. You started to see the fragmentation of the system. Everybody started to dump treasuries. The bond market started to collapse. And so Trump comes back as the crypto capital of the world, which we're going to get into that narrative. We're going to have to work to position ourselves so we can take advantage of the biggest transition of wealth in history. Okay, well, everyone is focused on oil, the Cobesio group posted, Venezuela holds 161 metric tons of gold reserves. 160 metric tons is roughly 5.18 million troy ounces, worth 22 billion at 4,300 an ounce. This makes Venezuela and Latin America country with the largest gold holdings. Every 100 that gold rises, these holdings gain 518 million of value. Controlling Venezuela is set to produce hundreds of billions for the US. Okay. So we took over oil, we increased our position in gold, and now this is what's happened since Trump came into presidency. Okay. The only thing that's off here is the market cap. The market cap's at 3 trillion here. But I want to give you guys a timeline to kind of show you the perspective, right? So we had Biden, who was anti-crypto, Gary Gensler, who was anti-crypto. Okay. Then we got a new SEC chair. So January 2025, SEC leadership change. Gensler stepped down. We got a pro crypto SEC. January 2025, spot Bitcoin ETFs. ETFs go live on Bitcoin spot ETFs. Coinbase joins the S&P. That was in May 2025. And now remember, Trump dropped the tariffs in April, which threw this market into a frenzy, and it threw the 4-year cycle completely out of whack, which is good news because 2026 is going to be extremely bullish based on macro and microeconomics. July 2025, Genius Act was signed. Now it was genius. The word Genius Act is genius. What do stablecoins use? U.S. Treasuries, short-term Treasuries. Okay. Bo Hines steps down, goes and grabs Tether, brings it into America, USAT, which is 90% of the stablecoin market. Trump creates his own stablecoin, USD1, okay, through World Liberty Financial, which is the fastest growing stablecoins. He trumped everybody. You saw the Russian parliament said they're going to Trump with stablecoins, Bitcoin. They're going to pull all of the U.S. debt up into stablecoins and suck. Remember, he said he's going to suck it up into the crypto cloud, but they made sure they were positioned first. Okay. October 2025, SEC ETF standards, BTC and ETH ETFs. December 2025, CFTC pilots and stocks, derivatives and training on the blockchain. December 2025, global market cap. This is incorrect. It was actually 3 trillion. Okay. So we're at 3.1 trillion after this weekend. Okay. So this is what was happening. So now we got the oil, we got the stablecoin market. Okay. We're one of the top in gold. And this is what Trump's portfolio looks like. Okay. So this is Trump's tally: 7 million in ETFs, 390 World Liberty Financial tokens, which is my number 3 holding now. You got 315 million in meme coin earnings, 427 million in meme coin stash, and 59 million stable coin business, estimated at $1.2 billion. Post-tax estimate is 935. Okay. So this is where they are positioned. Okay. We got the stable coin market with USD1. You got the DeFi with World Liberty Financial. And I'm going to show you how the Trump family is now climbing up the ranks in the Bitcoin treasury. Okay. Now, why all of a sudden would they be all stacking Bitcoin? Why would gold be at an all-time high? Why would silver be at an all-time high? Okay. Why do you think that move was made this last weekend to take over oil in Venezuela? Stack some more gold. There's a systematic power struggle behind the scenes financially. And the issue is you're right in the middle of it. So you have to ask yourself, just logically, if they're going to print more money than in history with the big, better bill, big, beautiful bill, whatever the name of it, I think it's big, beautiful bill, right? They're going to lower interest rates nearly zero. Does that make your dollar worth more or worth less? They're showing you what they're doing here. I'm not saying you have to get into Bitcoin. I'm not saying you have to get into XRP. I'm going to share with you my exact portfolio. But what you have to learn is how to beat inflation because it's going to cycle. That's the thing I'm going to show you in just a moment after this slide right here. Okay, I'm going to show you 2026 is going to be bullish, guys, but it's going to start to pull back. Okay, I've been telling you guys this. 2026, we're going to come back down around 2029. I believe we're going to go into hyperinflation. In between 2026 and 2029, those who are not properly positioned, the middle class, are going to get destroyed, and the wealth gap is going to become massive. Then you're going to see after 2030, we're going to go back up, okay, and it's going to be a massive, massive wealth gap. Okay, everything's going to be unaffordable. But this is what it looks like in Bitcoin treasuries. I'm going to keep showing you this. We know strategy is number 1 by a long shot. It's going to take a while for people to catch up. 21 Capital, which is my number 2 stock holding, which is XXI, which is a number 3 Bitcoin treasury. Okay, we got BlackRock is the number 3 holding strategy. We go down to Trump Media Group. This is Donald Trump's company. He is the number 11 Bitcoin treasury, and American Bitcoin, I think, just added another 500 Bitcoin. They're climbing up the ranks. They were like 23 a couple months ago. Now they're no, they just shot to number 19 as of today. So you see the little dots here. American Bitcoin is increasing pretty dramatically. Actually, Metaplanet went up. So they only one that there's only 3 with green increases. American Bitcoin is stacking Bitcoin. That's my number 1 stock holding. ABTC, XXI is number 2 on the stock side. Okay. Now, this is what I want you guys to pay attention to, because I don't want you to get caught up in the emotion. 2026 is going to be bullish. Okay. Now, you got to prepare for that, guys. Don't just please listen to this as wise counsel. Manage your own money, guys. Be very, very careful out there. Be very careful out there. Manage your own money, build your own plans, build your own ecosystems, pull profits. Okay. I'm going to explain to you exactly how I do it. I'm going to be very open, portfolio, everything, but pull profits, guys. Let 10, 10, 25 be your lesson. But let me explain this, and I'm going to go a little bit deeper into that because I want to speak to your heart. So I want to make sure that you win during these transitions. Okay. So this is really important. Okay. The beautiful thing about history is it has cycles. If you study Ray Dalio's Changing World Order, you'll see there's 500 years of cycles. You're not going to beat it. It's always the same. Over 200 years of markets. Okay. There's been 30 major market collapses. Do you think that all of a sudden market collapses are done? No, it's going to happen again, guys. It's going to happen again, and it's going to be ugly. Okay. That's when you win. Okay. So let's take a look at this. Let me try to make this a little bit bigger for you guys. Okay. So here was 2019. Let me explain this. See where A, right here, where it says A, years in which panics have occurred and will occur again. Okay. You had 2019 right here. B is years of good time, high prices, and the time to sell stocks, sell stocks, and values of all kinds. C is years of hard times, low prices, and good times to buy stocks. That's when we get wealthy, corner lots, goods, etc., and hold till the boom reaches the years of good time, which is B. Okay, that's all we're doing here. That's my capital DR system. Okay, what we're doing is we're watching these cycles. Okay, 2023, it started to go up. We got bullish, 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 coming up, coming up, coming up. 2026 will be the year of abundance. There's going to be a lot of abundance coming into the markets, low interest rates, printing of money, but it's going to start to come down again in between. So these are long ranges. You see where it's 2026 to 2032. So this is, well, let's see, 27, 28, 29, 30. So we got 4 years of kind of this probably sideways action, up and down, chaos, right? Then there'll be the new presidential election in 2028. There'll be a Bitcoin halving. So this year is going to be your year of prosperity. And this year is going to be the years to pull profit. And this year is going to be the year to position yourself so that when we do have a crazy rough time going from 2030 to 2032, that's when you buy again and then you cycle back up. Okay. If your brain isn't 10 years ahead and you're focused on today, the green candles and red candles, you're day trading, trying to catch these crazy price predictions, you're going to get wrecked, man. Absolutely wrecked. It is time to mature your portfolio. It's time to come up with a plan. It's time to come up with an ecosystem and follow the big swings. Okay. If it goes to these crazy price predictions, fantastic. You see how these all, one thing I want you to notice, see these lines up and down? That's how I manage everything. Okay. When things are going up, like here, say we'd be in 2025, when things start going up this year in 2026, I'm calmly taking profits off the table. Okay. I pull it down. I stack it into cash value life insurance. Let me show you what it looks like here. Okay. So I cash flow. When it goes up, you see the appreciation, it goes up. I pull profits on the way up. Boom. Put it into life insurance. I hold it. Okay. Then when it comes down, it's always going to ascend back down. We make decisions. Where are we going to leverage from? What is the highest and lowest, or excuse me, what is the lowest risk to leverage from during the economic cycle? And then we go back in. We buy more cash flow. We buy more assets. We flow. Money wants to flow. Don't lock your money up. Don't hold it. Okay. Don't just hold on to it. Don't just borrow against all your assets, right? You need to move money through the system. Read Richest Man in Babylon. There's wisdom in there, guys. Money is currency. Money wants to move. Anywhere money sits, somebody's using it. Okay. Somebody's using it. Of course, when I have my money sitting in my cash value life insurance, they're using my money, okay, but they're giving me protection. I'm getting something of value. They're giving me protection on my principal. They're also allowing me to borrow against them at 5% because they're making a hurdle rate, right? But then I can take that hurdle rate and I can buy more assets and I can use my family bank on this side because banks only make money in three ways: interest income, fee income, and capital markets income. So when you put your money into a bank, your fiat currency, your debt, your income, it's debt. They take your debt and they lend it out, make interest income, fee income, and capital markets income, right? As you're getting paid pennies on the dollar, we're just transitioning to our own family bank and moving our cash into our bank so that we can operate with the system. Okay. So here's what's going to happen is 2026 is going to be very bullish. Okay. We're having a nice start to the week out here. We're going to see, them lower interest rates. So the next thing is going to be Jerome Powell is going to step down. They're going to bring in a new Fed chair. Okay. The Venezuela move was big, guys. That was massive. It was really, really big. But I don't want you to get hype and I don't want you to get stuck when things start going super green. Do you already see? This is really important from a psychological component. Do you already see how the depression and anxiety goes away like that when markets just go a little bit green? Everybody gets bullish and everybody's excited on Twitter. Twitter's the greatest way to measure how people are going to get wrecked. Okay. The easiest thing to do is hype people up. Hopium is the greatest drug ever sold. It wrecks people. Money just moves from discipline to the undisciplined to the disciplined. That's it. Okay. So as money goes up, as your assets go up, remember, they're going to pull profits. Maybe get your initial investment out. So let me explain exactly how I do it. Let me just get off my soapbox and explain exactly what I do. So let's take Bitcoin, and we're never going to sell Bitcoin. We're going to put Bitcoin in leverage, okay? Capital DR, CAPL plus DR, okay? So we're going to move Bitcoin off to leverage, and I'm going to break down all my ecosystem. So C is cash flow, okay? Today is Monday as I'm recording this video. Around 12 o'clock today, when I'm done with all my meetings, I have a system that I use, right? I'll go buy more cash flow because I get paid dividends from one of my companies today. Anytime I have income that comes in, I see debt hitting my bank account. It's debt. It's someone else's debt. It's your debt. I'm being paid in your debt. You're being paid in my debt. So when I have fiat, fake currency that hits my bank account, okay, we have debts and non-negotiables. Those are all taken care of, automatic payments, all that stuff. Okay. And within my debts and non-negotiables, my insurance premiums come out of there, which stacks my family bank. My dollar cost average into XRP and Bitcoin are baked into that. So my investments are baked into my debts and non-negotiables. Anything outside of debts and non-negotiables is excess capital. Okay. Excess capital, which is fiat, which is dead currency to me. I'm going to make it current. And the first 10% goes into cash generating dividends. Okay, there's high risk dividends, there's medium risk dividends, there's low risk dividends like the Warren Buffett style, Coca-Cola, Apple. But I always take 10% of my income, my first fruits, and I create more income. That's richest man in Babylon. So then outside of the 10%, there's more cash flow. I could put my cash flow and store it in the bank, but they're going to use my money to make interest income, fee income, and capital markets income. So what I do is I transmute that money and I see where the markets are at. Sometimes I hold it back on the sideline, waiting for the markets to come down. Okay. But I'm always buying right now a little bit more of American Bitcoin, XXI. I'm stacking my WFI right now. I'm stacking my XRP still. I think it's a great price, right? Then when Bitcoin comes down, I buy a little chunk. So I put money into a stable coin. I allow the markets to, when they go red, I just buy a little bit more throughout that process. Does that make sense? So I'm creating cash flow. I have my earned income from my businesses. Okay. And then we have appreciation, A. So I put my money into appreciating assets. When they go green, there's no emotion. As they go up, my altcoins and my assets, I'm going to pull profits. The first thing I'll do is get my initial investment out. Now I'm on house money. After that, I will just hit price targets. No emotion. Like I said, when they hit it, I pull it out and I put it into P, protection. That's the first thing I do is max fund my cash value life insurance. Now I can't stuff all my money in. There's MIC rules. And so I'll put as much as I can into my cash value life insurance. Okay. From there, I'll have excess capital. I put 10% of profits back into cash flow. Okay. Do you see the richest man in Babylon coming to life? Okay. Then the excess capital, I put it on the sidelines into stable coins to earn some interest. Now I'm making more cash flow off my income, off my appreciated assets. Sorry. Then I take some of it, I make some income into dividend stocks, and then I protect some, which creates L, leverage, a family bank. So then when the market comes back down, when it collapses back down, I calmly enter back in the market. You see, I'm calmly exiting out and I'm calmly entering back in. Okay. Somebody asked me, even XRP? I said, yes, absolutely. Let me give you an example of that. Okay. I, by the time Trump got elected, I've been buying XRP since it was 17 cents. And I think my dollar cost average, because I buy it every day and I buy the dips, was 38 cents. So when he got elected, around about that, it was around 38 cents. And so when he got elected, it shot up to, I think, $3.40. I know my XRP went up 800%. So I sell 50% of altcoins, all my coins. Bitcoin, we're not going to sell. It's in leverage. Okay. As it goes up, my first target was $2.70. So it hit $2.70. I exited 10% of 50% of my portfolio, but it's like, don't sell your XRP. I put that money on the sidelines. 10, 10, 20, 25 happened. It came collapsing down. And guess what? I bought more. Does that make sense? So people are telling you to lock up all your XRP, just lend against it. Well, you better understand how to lend against it, number one. You better understand how to beat hurdle rates. And you better make sure that when you borrow against that, you have something that's going to pay off that interest. Because at some point, there's going to be a market collapse. At some point, the value of your currency is going to come down. And if you're taking loans against that asset and you're buying things that don't appreciate, buying things that don't create cash value, okay, buying things that can't pay off the interest, crypto is way too volatile right now. That's why we use cash value life insurance. But taking all that out, is money is currency. That's the name of it. It's called currency. They call it a bank for a reason. You put it in a bank, what does a bank do? It dams up the water in a river and they make your money current. It's polarity, reverse engineer everything. If someone telling you it's going to this price, imagine it going to this price. Okay? If they tell you to look this way, make sure you look over this way. Okay. If the news tells you Bitcoin's going to 250, it's probably going to 190. Work to take sovereignty of your wealth. Your goal and aim with wealth should be sovereignty and freedom. The freedom to speak your truth, the freedom to raise your kids, the freedom not be at the mercy of anybody because you have to make income. Manage your own money, manage your own kids' education, manage your own kids' spiritual walk. I think it's really important to stop with blind leadership. That's the era we're heading into. There is no more blind leadership. Trust me. Just sit tight. What's done in darkness will all come to light at some point. You can attack people online all day. You can say whatever you want, but there's a higher power that will expose all of this. As we go into 2026, it's about posting, ghosting, getting spiritually aligned, physically aligned, and financially aligned. Responding to those with positivity and high frequency, and doing what we need to do to build the infrastructure for our family so we can build freedom, peace, and prosperity. So I hope this information reaches your heart well. I believe 2026 is going to be extremely bullish. The plan is set. We follow the plan, we execute, and know that this is going to cycle. So I hope that 10-10-2025 was your lesson. That was your tuition. That was your training ground to understand that nobody has a crystal ball. Nobody can tell you where the price is going to go at a certain date or certain time. But what you can do is create a plan, stick to it on the way up, stick to it on the way down, secure some on the side, build some cash flow, touch some grass, and go raise your family. As we always say, warriors, rise, get your shit together. Let's go. Love you guys so much. Hey, I just want to give you guys a quick warning out there. I'm not on Telegram. I'm not on WhatsApp. We don't have a Discord. We do not invest people's money. We'll never reach out to you about your crypto. Those are all scammers. Web3 accounts are scam. Those are all scam accounts. I have an education academy. We educate people on Capel DR. It's not an investment. Okay. We show you what we do. We empower you to understand how to beat inflation and how to understand economic cycles and how to position yourself so that you can help your family build generational wealth. Okay. It's an education platform. In the description of this video, you can join the program. You can interview with my team to see if you're a good fit. Or my social media platform, click the link and you'll see it right there. I also own my own insurance firm. So I want to make sure that you guys understand. I get tons of messages around, I get tons of messages around what cash value life insurance. I have an elite team Okay. We have a small team of 9 very, very, very well trained agents by me personally. They understand my capital DR strategy. They understand how to structure cash value life insurance properly, and they know how to teach you to fund them properly. They're not magic retirement policies. They need money in them. You need to fund them properly, and you need to understand how to use these properly to build wealth. Okay. So I have an elite team, a small brokerage firm that we help you do it the right way. You can set up an appointment in the description of this video and my social media platform. We got your back. We have all the resources you need. I love you guys. I appreciate you. I'll see you soon.